how would you like to make your first million? And today we have George Rivera with us, which is an amazing en- entrepreneur and join us from Texas, which is not actually semi-retired after uh, having a business that turn over millions of dollars. So George, tell us, what are the 5 steps you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Hey, Harry, happy to be here. And I love that question. Step number 1 is have a clear offer, one clear customer. You need to know who you're selling to. The second step is a simple conversion system. It could be a video sales letter, could be a website, a webinar, a DM funnel, basically one predictable path. The third is the unit economics that actually scale. So you need to know your numbers, your average order value, cost per acquisition, your margins, retentions, all that stuff. Number 4, you got to monetize your back end because that's where the true wealth is at. It's going to be your emails, your upsells, your continuities, referrals. Your first $1 million usually doesn't come by just on your front end only. And then the 5th thing, and the thing I'm most passionate about, is removing founder dependency early. This is where I almost killed myself, working myself into the ground. Owners plus decision rights plus scorecards so that the $1 million doesn't have to cost you your life at home. So those would be my 5 things.
So then, Josh, when I started my first business, okay, we all have ego, right? Otherwise, we won't become entrepreneurs. We think that we can do better. And I developed this persona that I'm the big boss and everybody had to do what I say. And I'm the big deal here. And I was exhausted. After 2 years, I'm tired. All the clients, we had like 177 clients, all the clients want to speak with me. Every team member want to speak with me. And I'm thinking to myself, these people are going to kill me. When I'm going to sleep. So kind of by accident, I remember I took my manager Eva and said, Eva, from now on, you are Harry. I'm not Harry. You are Harry. I'm thinking like this, I can sleep. I'm not thinking about leadership. I'm not thinking about delegation. I'm thinking, can I sleep? Then Eva said to answer all the Harry's call and everything. And I remember also, when the team came with the problem, I put a sign behind that said, if you have a problem, choose 3 solutions. We pick your favorite, we try it, if it works, if it doesn't, same thing. I'm thinking like this, I can sleep. But kind of by accident, I changed from the 2 years where I was the big deal, I'm the big boss, everybody had to do what I say, and I'm tired, I'm exhausted. And on top of that, all of them going out for a drink and they're not even inviting me. That's how much they hate me. Until the second part, well, they start to develop the leadership into organization. And after 2 years after that, even my manager told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you here anymore. We can grow the company without you. And I'm like, what? I remember this day I was even angry. I told him, and who's going to buy the paper for the photocopy? Huh? Who's going to do that? And she told me, we can do it. We can get our own paper for the photocopy. Go home, rest. I will go once a month to tell you what we're doing with the company. We clearly know how to handle it. And I remember when I was traveling, the team, they want to show me that they can do better without me than with me, which is amazing how you change the culture. But Josh, I did it by accident, okay, survival. But tell us your story. I think you have been through a similar process. Tell us a little bit more about your story.
Absolutely. So I'm a 31-year entrepreneur, done over $400 million in sales online. So I've been around a long time, been very successful, lots of peaks and valleys. And I'd say one of the biggest stories for me was in 2015. My father, he started the year, his 40th year of his medical practice, thinking he has a long run ahead of him. And he got diagnosed with cancer early on, given a few months to live. And towards the last 2 weeks before the end of his life, he told me a phrase that changed my life forever. He said, "Don't miss Leo's games. I missed too many of yours." And Leo's my son, who was just born a few months earlier in the year. So he was already starting to learn how to walk and talk. And I was missing all of these moments. But when he told me that, I remember as a kid, he wasn't there at those games that I played in. And, I'd score a basket. I'd look to the stands, no dad in the stands. But my teammates would score a basket and their dads were there cheering them like crazy. And I remember looking at another dad. I was like, I wish that was my dad. And that would have really hurt my dad because he was just busy and there's no manual for living life. Sometimes you get into it and you're just in a situation. And so that was nice closure to whatever that was. But the other side of it was like, oh my gosh, I'm my dad all over again. I'm version 2 of my father. My dad used to do this thing. He'd give us nice homes, nice cars, nice trips to Europe, but that's in exchange of his presence. It's like you're kind of buying the happiness. And I was doing the same thing. And I remember being a kid not liking that. So I thought in my head, this ends here. I'm no more. Like I'm stopping right now, but it has to start tomorrow because today I'm working 16 hours. And then tomorrow comes and tomorrow, many tomorrows turns into 3 years of tomorrows. Now my dad is 3 years long gone and my business is scaling to numbers that I just never imagined, more money than I knew what to do with. And I remember had you told me years prior, one day you're going to make this money, I would have said, yes, I'm going to be at the top of the mountain of the entrepreneur summit. But the truth is, when I was there, I hated my life. And the big reason was because what it was doing to my family, it was robbing my family from me or robbing me from my family. I don't know, one or the other, but it was the same result. And so I came to the conclusion, I wanted to do one of two things. I want to sell the business or I want to burn the thing down, but I want out of the business. And selling it is, you can't snap your fingers and sell a
Wow.
business.
Wow. No, especially
Yeah.
that big.
Yeah, exactly. It's a multi-year process, but you can burn it down. I can unplug the server and just boom, let it blow up because I was well funded, so I could survive. I get my family back, I get my time back, my sanity back. That's a good option. But I had a coach at the time that said, no, you're going to do something dumb. Don't do that. He's like, all you have to do is stop doing what you don't like doing and keep doing what you're good at. And I'm good at the marketing. I'm good at getting the message out there. I'm good at entering new marketplaces, strategic relationships, building $1 million businesses. I'm not, HR, technical support, customer support. Like I can do that, but it shouldn't be the same brain doing both. And the crazy thing is I had 40 people working for me doing all of this stuff, but it got to a point where they needed my approval. They needed my involvement to take any sort of action. And so I
Being
was the
there,
bottleneck
yeah.
in the business. Oh yeah, you've been there. You know how that is. Not fun. It's very stressful. No amount
Very
of
tired,
money.
and you're exhausted. You're
Yeah,
exhausted.
yeah, yeah.
You have
It's
money
a
in the bank account. I remember I going out. I used to go out, and I said to my employees, "I'll pay for everything. Spend." I was so angry with myself
yeah.
that I even want them to. I don't know. I was crazy amount of
Ye-
money that will blow there with the team just for one day that I can go out because I didn't have all the days to go out. It was crazy,
Absolutely.
crazy.
You have to make the most of it. Yeah. And the thing is, I was very good at doing it, but all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I'm going to get myself out of this business, like work my way out of it. And that's when what I do now started. But at the time, I didn't know what a bottleneck was. I didn't know what a framework was. I'm just doing the work. And the transformation happened a little under 2 years later when I took my business from 20 million to $50 million, and I went from working 80-hour weeks down to under 30-hour weeks, and also
Oh,
going
wow, that's very
semi-retired.
impressive. That's very
Yes,
impressive.
yeah, and you do that
You
by
can say
stop
easy.
doing, yeah, the things that don't move the needle. So get rid of that. Somebody else can do it better than you, and then keep doing the things that bring in revenue for the business. That's how
Uh,
you make more money while working less. That's a
I,
good
I
combination.
I have a client that owns like 300 supermarket. He has 4,000 employees, a big headquarters and everything. And every time that I talk to him, I'm free for him
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he has limited time, and he had to deal with so many things, and things had to be thrown to everything had to go through him, and every time who's gonna write that someone with that amount, I think he sells 60 million a year, something like that, online
yeah.
only, and only online without the other supermarket. The whole point is that how you get out of the business because it's you say very easy, but depend on the dynamics and as you scale, you have to supervise things. You have to
Yeah.
you are somebody. In my case, for example, this happened to me. Right, I started to that process that I described to you. That was amazing. That my employees they tell me, Harry, go home. We can run this business without you. Well, it kind of the middle. It was some setbacks because I started to employ people and I give them some space and some confidence. There were people that stole money from me a lot. Being in a startup, you know how painful it is, Josh. You know,
Yeah.
if something is still, if someone is missing now, well, the company cannot provide when you started. And
Yeah.
so then I'm thinking, shall I continue with this trust or shall I go back to my being where I'm supervising everything so this thing doesn't happen to me? So it's not a straight line to do that transition between working in the business and crazy things will happen to you that will pull you back to working in the business. But sometimes your worst day of your life become your best day of your life, right? I think that this
True.
tip that gave you enhance something in you. You did it more than for you. You did it for your family. You do it for people that you love, for your son. So you find the strength out
Hmm.
of despite that at the beginning you have a toxic mentality. You say, you know what? I unplug it. I don't care. This is what's really important for me, right?
Hmm.
And but at the end of the day, you know your business. The business has own life. It's like a child that grows. He has to be able to go by itself. You can call it one to time to see how it's doing, but
Yeah.
it had own life. And sometimes we get attached to the business. Remember, I have a restaurant. I opened a restaurant in Brick Lane in London and I put a lot of money into this. And it was failing. It was a crazy idea. I put a Harry stuff in mind. If you know about business, you know name. That's how big my ego was. You call it the Spanish restaurant Lola Pepe. How you gonna call it Harry? So from the name, the whole thing was wrong. Anyway, I lost 200,000 pounds, 2 years working days and night. And I remember that people were going and telling me, this my mother-in-law used to go there and tell me, Harry, close it. It's gonna fail. And I would get angry at her, like it's my baby. Like, why you talking back to my baby? And telling you the truth, it's not going to work. Close it. And you attach to the business sometimes like it's your own baby. And and it creates that tension. If somebody tell you something bad about you, even get insulted like it's your own baby. So tell us
Yeah.
about this process. How you put love first and business after you work hard to grow that online, which is it's quite very it's impressive. Very
Thank you.
impressive.
Yeah. No, so the first thing I had to do is basically figure out everything that I was doing in the business without judgment, just get everything down on paper what I was doing. And then after that I had to determine what is my dollar per
How
hour,
many
or in your case,
pages? How many you
like
feel?
notebooks. Yeah. Yeah, notebooks. I had
Thing
to
you were
figure out
doing, right?
everything. Yeah. Even like I wake up at this time, I brush my teeth, I make some food, everything. Because if you choose, then you're going to miss other things. You have like a cameras on you. And then you determine what is, in my case, my dollar per hour or your pound per hour for our European friends. And then you have to run everything through that. So in my case, I created the 10K per hour filter, $10,000 per hour. That's what I'm worth when I'm in my zone of genius. And so I took all of my tasks, I ran it through that filter, and what I noticed was 40 of those 80 hours I was working was for $50 an hour or less. So very low kind of stuff, but you could outsource it for very inexpensive. So I'm not a mathematician, but quick numbers, 40 hours per week times $50 per hour equals $2,000 USD for a business that was doing $20 million per year. That's like a worth of sales. But when you're in the fog, you can't see clearly to make these decisions. So what happened, I got half of
You
my
don't see
week back.
anything. You
Oh,
you so immersed. You so immersed, and all it take is that you hire someone and make a mistake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it. You say, you know what, that's I'll do it. I cannot have anybody else to do it because accountant they made mistake and it was like 3,000 shorts or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
imagine in a business, how many chances you have that people make mistakes. And
Oh no, it's
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so what happened, I got 40 of my hours back by just getting that off my plate. So the other 40 really condensed to like 20 because now I'm working on my zone of genius activities that bring in revenue, but I'm less stressed, clear energy, more motivated,
100%.
more excited. So now I'm more efficient and making
Hmm.
myself more exponentially valuable. So again, that's how you work less and make more money is by doing that. And the end result, 2 years later, I took it from 20 to $50 million working less. But the most impressive part,
Wow.
more impressive
Wow.
than money, more impressive than time, is that my dad said, "Don't miss Leo's games." I never missed any of my son's games. In fact, when he was 8 years old, I taught him how to buy
Wow.
real estate. It's something that we do on the side as a byproduct of the cash flow. On this lake in my background, we had two houses that we bought. So this is house number one, the view from the outside, but the other house is on the corner over here. And it came up on the market, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be our competition because we have the best house on the lake. And so I thought, okay, we're just going to go buy it because I know the numbers. And so the old me would have said, "Hey, son, here's an iPad. Go in that room and play, and we'll let you know when the big people are done talking." That's the old me. The new me is like, "Son, you're going to make the offer to the realtor." I said, "Tell him we're going to close in 30 days. Leave the furniture, leave the dock because this is a lake house investment property. And yeah, go the offer." And he's like, "Why?" And I said, "No, we'll debrief later. Just go tell him." And he goes to the realtor, and he's a big, tall guy, and he's kind of looking down, listening, little smirk because little kid talking closing date and all this stuff. And then he looks at me. He doesn't say anything, but with his eyes, he's like, "Is that the offer?" And I said, "The little whippersnapper spoke. That's the offer." And we got the house. Of course, the
Wow.
terms need to make sense, but he conveyed the terms. And I can see him when he's with his kids. He's going to say, "Grandpa took me to make offers on properties. You kids are going to do it." And so that's going to have a legacy impact. And the reason I say that is because his trajectory was going to be another zombie kid on an iPhone that doesn't know how to look up and look at other people.
Hmm.
And now
Hmm.
he's making real estate deals. Another thing too is he's 11 years old. He has a podcast. He's interviewed over 50 people. These are
Wow.
millionaires, founders, people with amazing stories.
Wow.
I counted the gross numbers of all of his guests that they speak about publicly. It's like almost $5 billion, and these are just my friends and peers. And now it's starting to get
Wow.
out of the yeah. If you're looking to get on podcast, would love to invite you on my son's podcast.
Absolutely.
It's
I would love to.
yes, it's
100%.
leointerviews.com,
Yeah.
leointerviews.com. And
Oh,
but
definitely.
anyway, on my son because that's just evidence of a present father in the
No, but it's
home.
important. It's important. Let's go there because I hang around with family offices a lot. I usually speak at the family offices events, and they have been telling me that in order to transfer the wealth, they take the kids when they are 7, 8 years old to the board meetings to listen about the real estate. We buy in this building. What is the risk? And they sit them there. So they start to get familiar with the thing, the familiar with the conversation because you know that eventually when they grow, they're gonna be in those board meetings taking this decision. And it's a lot of money involved. We're talking about hundreds of millions. So they and some family offices, they even tell the children, go and work somewhere else. And when you learn and you prove to that company that you worth and you have made them so, then you can come and be in the family of the family to help with the decisions. So I think that and of course you work so hard, you freedom for your family, the people that you love, but also the legacy to continue the work. So my to you goes to the following, right? Because out of the 500 millionaires we interview here, 1 out of 5 are property millionaires or they are invested in property investors, right? Why do you think that 1 out of 5 people that come to this podcast are in real estate? Do you think that real estate is good vehicle to build wealth? Is the difference compared with your vitamins company, which
Yeah.
is doing. What's the name of your company that's actually well?
Yeah, the company that I founded is called Fight Age Laboratories. And yeah, so, everybody, I believe, has to sort of invest in what they're best at. For me, I'm best at online business. So I'm confident investing in my abilities to grow and scale an online company, and what I'm doing right in my book and my message and stuff. I love real estate as well because it's a great way to protect wealth. It's a great way to grow wealth passively. It also offsets the negative effects of inflation. Like, for example, here in the United States, I'm sure around the world too, we're seeing inflation go up, and real estate prices are going down now in today's market, but it's going down slower than the rate of inflation increasing. So even with that happening, I'm still know that my money is better protected in real estate, even in a slightly down market. But we all know that, look at any 5 or 10 year period, you're always going up in real estate. So this is just a little dip before it kind of figures it out again. So yeah, I love real estate. I've invested in Airbnb, single family homes, raw vacant land, developments.
Wow, where?
Yeah,
Where?
in various different countries. Like, so this right here is up in
Different
northern
countries,
Michigan. I'm sorry, counties, different
states,
states and
countries.
counties. Yes, yes. Yeah, I was going to, because we're international thinking countries, but different states like North Carolina have some property in Florida, in Texas, Ohio, Michigan. So yeah, it's in different states. Mhm.
Wow. So now let's talk about your book. What is your favorite chapter, and what are you to write this book?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say my opening chapter for my book, Buyback Formula, because it just lays out my reason why. And everybody has to have a reason why. It's like, okay, you can start a business, but if you're going to change and make a significant in your life, you have to have a reason, a compelling reason why you're going to do that. And so for me, my reason why, like I explained, my father like woke me up to the realization that I was on the path of one day ending up like him on his deathbed, saying that I regret missing my son's games. I saw that with my own eyes. I know that there's never been anybody that says at the end of their life, "Oh, I'm so thankful I blew your game off for that client meeting." Nobody's ever says that. You're not going to remember the name of that client at the end of your days. You're not going to
100%.
remember the business excuse, but you will remember if you were trying to be present for your kids' games. And so, yeah, the beginning of the book, I would say it lays the foundation for the entire process.
Now, a little more on that, just because emotional pain, okay, if you don't deal with it, uh, can become a physical pain. You can end up with cancer, with heart attack,
Mhm.
and then by these so many hours that I've been working, yeah, I've been there. The first 2 years of business, it was exactly like this. It was a nightmare. It was you need to deal with a lot with the team, with the staff, and you building everything, and you don't know what you're doing, and everything is trying and error, and you're wearing all the hats because there is no enough resources to employ anybody, and you're not good at everything, but you have to do everything because uh, so this all emotional pain that when you through the process, okay, and you have been experiencing this for years. I've been accumulating. Even the time that you know with your partner, all these add up, okay, and then you home, and then you say something or you shout or whatever, and it's not the fault of anybody. It's that you bring it the stress from home to the stress from the work, and everybody has to work with you. Yeah, your family, your friends, everybody has to, and nobody understands you, right? Because nobody owns a business. That will happen to me also, right? So when I feel that nobody understands me, because the truth is nobody understands me. Nobody owns a business. Oh, everybody trying to help you, but they don't know because they never had one. And so you feel so lonely, so tired, so frustrated, and still next day you need to go and make sure that the team perform because you have millions of dollars. And that in my case, if I make a mistake, 177 people can go to the street from one
Yep.
day to another one because I'm
A lot
giving
of
the
pressure.
accommodation,
Yeah.
right? So, and I am the only person that can make the mistake, nobody else, because I'm taking all the decision.
Mhm.
So so you have the pressure,
Yeah.
but realize exactly like that even when my team told me go home and we can run this business without you. I still have all this emotional baggage with me, and I have to learn how to, get even worse. That's why, because I have emotional baggage, rather than travel the world, you know what I did? I watched TV in a dark room for a month, only thinking, this is wrong. I'm making so much money. I'm not doing anything. This is wrong. Let me watch movie to relax. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. The door after 3 months, I went to Brick Lane. I opened the Harris Spanish service, and I blew 200,000 pounds, 2 years of my life, and probably, and the other property business almost collapsed because of this as well. So
Mm.
rather than enjoy, I self sabotage myself, and
Yeah.
I realized that was because that pain process still was there, and I couldn't help it little by little get rid of it. Now I play a lot of tennis, I walk, I'm conscious when somebody calls me, Harry, let's make that many millions. I'm like, what is it gonna take?
Yeah. Yeah.
Millions, yeah, but what is it gonna take?
What's it going to take from my soul?
Exactly. I'm not canceling my tennis, my dancing for anything in the world. And the time with my dad and whatever. So tell me how these millions gonna be, and let me see if I'm interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I learned in the hard way. I learned about actually without knowing I self sabotage myself,
Yeah.
without needing. I could travel. My team send me home
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
all the money to sit and to do whatever they want. So why I did that to myself?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think so. My question, George, is you shifted. You're doing two things. You shifted 20 hours, but at the same time, all this negative emotion that for so many years have been in your brain, you little by little are letting go of this. That's why now you take it your son to buy the property, and you avoid the lake, you have a nice view, you are more calm, more relaxed. So that part specifically, how you learn, or how you notice that even that you're doing less work and you're more efficient, still this emotional pain that you have there, you have to start to let it go, because, and it's difficult because it's embedded so much
Yeah.
work.
Identity.
It's sticking to you and let go, but you have to let that go. So what are you doing? You meditating? It's like me
Yeah,
walking?
yeah. No,
What are
I
you
try to
doing?
stay. I just stay. I pray a lot. I believe in God, and I believe, like, I pray for purpose. I'm like, I don't think God's purpose for me personally was to just enrich my family, making money, selling products, and then killing myself trying to maintain it all. Like, I don't think that's the good life. People might trade for that, but yeah, I think there's an adjustment that needs to happen, because or at least in my case, I get dopamine hit would be coming from being the hero to my business. Like, oh, George came in and he saved the day again. Yes. But of course, that costs me time, costs me sanity, pulls me in. So it's like you enjoy it, but you hate it at the same time. It's just this tension. And I think we need to train our brain to get dopamine from somewhere else, excitement, enjoyment, and other things. And I go back to the reason why. And so, like, what I do when I help men get their time back, I don't just say, hey, all right, good, go enjoy your time. I say, why did you want to get your time back? And now let's do that. Let's intentionally plug into that. And for me, it's for my family. So I'm another book, and it's Before They Stop Asking. That's the name of the title, Before They Stop Asking. Because one day our kids are going to stop asking for our attention, because when we say, oh, 5 more minutes, and 5 minutes is never 5 minutes, it's 30 minutes, it's an hour, sometimes it's not, right? It's like 5 minutes, and then the moment's gone. And at one point, the kids will stop asking their parents, can I get your attention? Because they already know you trained them to not come up to you. I trained my son to ignore me at a certain point, and I had to restore that relationship. And it wasn't
Wow.
until I got serious about getting out of my business and then coming back home. But it's not like first day back home, hey family, I'm back, I'm great. Yeah, it's like they're like, well, we have a life. We're planning without you. And so you have to, like, work back in
You need to
consistency.
fight. You need to find your way back. Yeah.
It is. You got to claw your way back in there, because they're not just going to give it back to you because you took it away from them, them time and time again, not on purpose, but hey, the business, the business is what pays the bills. It's what pays our home. I got to do this. That's the lie that we tell ourselves. I'm the one. This is my baby. Nobody can do it like me. And my philosophy is if somebody can do it 80%, let's say I'm 100%, but they get to 80, that should be good enough. But I have such a big ego that I'm even saying I'm 100. No way. I get out of the way. Their 80% goes to 120.
Me
And I'm like,
too, me too,
what was I
me
ever
too.
doing
I
about this
was,
thing?
yeah, I was so lucky that they just me. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking ego was there, but I'm thinking this thing is me when I sleep. I
Yeah.
remember it was some point. Imagine you have 177 tenants, and they all want to speak with you because if they bring in a friend, only Harry can say yes. If your mom is coming to visit, or if you're a little bit late on the rent, they knew all of that. They knew that only Harry can take that decision. The whole team made sure this thing is only with Harry. So I remember that a tenant want to speak with me 4 a.m. Now another one happens for because I said, look, my calendar is full. They say, okay, at 4 a.m. are you free? And I say, yes, okay, at 4 a.m. I will call you. And at 3 a.m. I will call you. I'm thinking, if I can give in the whole day I'm full and the clients want to speak with me even like that when I sleep. So it was kind of the ego was so huge. Okay. I don't think it's huge. I think Josh, exactly what I'm telling you. Like we are entrepreneurs. We all have that ego. Otherwise we won't be entrepreneurs. We think that we can do better. It's there. Okay. And because we don't know what we're doing, and then you develop that persona, that character, because you have to be strong because it's a startup, and the rest of the people you to do. So imagine your employees; they're also learning from you, and you don't know what you're doing. So you have to develop this strong person. Okay, everybody say what I do. If I make a mistake, it doesn't matter. It was good to do it, and and then you grew and you grow, you build something out of the business that is very mentally exhausted
Mm.
and to run with you. And lucky you. You know how many restaurants owners, especially when I go to Spain, people own restaurants for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, working day by day and day by day. You talk with these people and they know so much about food. And I'm like, guys, you should have hundreds of franchises now.
Yeah.
You're running this for so many years and you know a lot about this because you have worked then. And how come you still have this tiny restaurant?
Yeah.
And
It's
it's because of
crazy.
that. It's because they have to run it. They have to check everything. Uh, so
Yeah.
some people never. I see thousands of entrepreneurs that never got out. Yeah, never
Hmm.
was as lucky as we are. Like for me, I'm a survivor. For you, sounds good that give you the best advice. He knew, he
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew. He doesn't have no one to tell him what he was about to happen because that's the thing. We don't know what we're doing until we are on the space. The truth
Yeah.
is that in a business, grow a multi-million-dollar business is not an easy task. So tell us, George, where people can buy your books, okay? The titles of the books you already published. Look how much time you have now that you're writing books. You know how long it takes that when I write my first one? Oh my God. So look at you, you're writing several books now and have time
That's
to
fun.
spend time with your family. And with that view that you have, it's
Oh,
amazing. Amazing ideas
y-
can come from there. Tell us
yes.
the name of your books, um, how people can find you. Also the name of your company again, the website. So if someone tell us a little bit
Yeah.
more about your company, that one that you work in 20 hours, so in case that somebody want to look at. And
Yeah.
again, somebody's in love with this conversation, how people can find you, how this process works. Tell us about your business website, your books, your everything you're doing.
Alrighty, I'll get into all of it. So the book I've talked mostly about here is called Buyback Time Formula, and you can get it at buybacktimeformula.com. I have another book coming out shortly. It'll be available at beforetheystopasking.com. And my company name is 18 Summers Advisory, so 18summersadvisory.com. Why 18 Summers? is because 18 summers is the only number of summers we have with our children. And so there's no 19 summers with kids, it's 18. And so when people hear that, they think, oh, I got 4 summers left. And so it's supposed to let you know that the time is shrinking. And and you can follow me on my social medias. Buybacktimeformula.com is probably the best place to go, and you'll see my links to all my socials. I post every day on Facebook and Instagram and the socials. And then I mentioned earlier, my son has a podcast. It's leointerviews.com, and check out. We're at episode like 54. While I was on this, he was running a podcast with a guest. So yeah, and like I said, billions in sales.
How we book your son podcast? What we have to do?
Yes, go to interviews.com/apply. And there you'll see his schedule. You can book a call, or it's a book a call format. It's getting on the calendar for the podcast. So I'm inviting you, Harry, to come on.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of wisdom to share, and then we share it on our social media and ask if you know who would enjoy being interviewed by an 11-year-old. He asks great questions. He has a book. You can get his book also on that website.
Wow.
The success clues of interviewing the people that he's talking to. Yeah, lots going on, but at the end of the day, my heart breaks for the little boy or the little girl who's like, where the heck is my dad and why is he not here? They might not say that, but they feel it. And if they don't get the leadership from dad, they're going to get it from somewhere else. And sometimes the somewhere else is bad. More than often, it's
100%. 100%.
And so I want to shake dad in a loving way.
It's not going to be better than their parents.
No. It's usually worse. And like I said, I just want to, of the deathbed experience, like, you're never going to say, I'm so glad I blew your game for that client meeting. We do that every day, on autopilot. And so let's realize it now. Let's not wait to the end of our days to make that decision. And if you need help, I'm there to walk alongside of you to help you implement this, hold you accountable, and show you what I would do in that situation.
Thank you so much, George Rivera.
Thank you, Harry.
Masterclass, how we should be, because you have went from operator to actually a leader. Okay, the fact that you're working 20 hours, that means that there are a lot of leaders in your organization to develop and enhance the leadership. So those are right, that one leader, now you have 20, 30, 40 leaders in your organization leading each part of the business, and that's the main reason. So a lot of people ask me always, Harry, I want to attract leader into organization. Well, if you want to attract leader to organization, you have to become a leader yourself. And
that's it.
One of the effective leaders is about delegate to the right person, to the right responsibility, and empower them and keep them motivated to keep leading. And we are just entrepreneurs. We sign up to sell a product and make money. We didn't sign up for this leadership thing. As soon as you expand, we found that we had to become leaders. Otherwise, we end up like this. But I didn't sign up for this. I signed out to sell a product, buy a product cheap, sell it more expensive, keep the difference. This is what.
Yeah, that's it.
What I'm supposed to do, right? So there you go. So thank you so much, George. And for all of you following the podcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like George Rivera break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.